and you are back in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. This is our 18th episode, and today we'll be discussing how nobody wants to work and that y'all are broke. So we're going to get right into it. We're in a bit of a workforce crisis, and I say we have been, especially since COVID hit and we shut down all of human society over the sniffles and putting everybody out of work and then trying to get them back to work. It created a lot of, I would say, exacerbate a lot of structural problems that we're facing with the young workforce. And this has first been noticed with young men, how many young men have just completely checked out of working. And the whole thing is with that is that a lot of young men perceive society as absolutely hating them, and they act accordingly in their minds as like, I'm just not going to work or contribute, or I'm going to contribute as little as possible. So you see these large droves of young men checking out of the workforce to become passport bros, or they do the minimum amount of work possible, or they're just freeloading off of their parents or whoever they can, rather than working for the society that hates them, corporate America, right? And then you've got young women who either they check out of the workforce and they do, OnlyFans stuff, sex work. Timcast has been on and on about how that's where all the young women are going to go. And then you've got this secondary issue where you've got a lot of young women who expect a higher income than the entry-level positions that are being offered to them, or the ones that they can apply for with the amount of student loan debt they got. I saw this one woman about 25 years old on TikTok complaining that an entry-level marketing position that she would be applying for with the $80,000 of student loan debt that she had to incur to get that degree, the pay cut would from being a barista at Starbucks or whatever isn't enough to justify that. And you want to make those $150,000 to $200,000 jobs, but you need to have experience. You need to provide immense value to an organization if they're going to compensate you with a high salary, right? But you don't understand that. You get out of college, you accrued all this debt you accrued way too much debt for a degree like that, or any degree, $80,000, and you're not going to get that instant ROI. You're not going to get that instant gratification. You're going to have to make $30,000 to $50,000 a year for a bit while you grind it out to those six figures. But people don't want to do that. People don't want to be in the rat race, and I'm not going to be one to say that corporate America isn't an evil entity. It's not a rat race. It's very soul crushing. It's very draining, and it's something that I aspire to get out of one day. But if you want to have wealth, if you want to have enormous value being provided to you through your income, then you need to provide enormous value, whether that's being your own business person through entrepreneurship, which it takes a whole lot of work, and a lot of people just are not built to be entrepreneurs, to own their own businesses, or you have to find a field that you have at least some degree of passion or willing to be consistent with, and then working hard at it in order to get to the point where you're making six figures. In some industries, that's easier than others, where there's more money flowing through certain industries. Like, it's easier to become six figures doing electrician work than it is being a barista at Starbucks, so to speak, or doing things that are working for a small nonprofit is going to make you less money than if you're working at a prestigious law firm or something like that. So it depends on what industry you're in. But if you work hard and you commit yourself to building wealth, then you can do so pretty easily. And the interesting thing with this is that the people who want to build wealth, who want to progress, who want to have careers for themselves, that's going to be less and less of the young population. So they're going to have less people to compete with for those entry-level positions that start between 30 to 50K and lead to those $150,000 to $200,000 per year jobs. So you got your foot in your door, you work hard, you grind it out, you're going to be able to succeed more. And since more and more people just see that initial hump, and they turn away and they do other things or nothing at all, it's going to be easier for those people who want to self-start or to go on that journey to do so, because they'll have less people who are running next to them and being their competition. So it's a positive and a negative simultaneously. This is also going to create a lot of dead weight in our society going forward in the future, and that's going to be hard for us to deal with. Now, of course, you'll have automation and AI making the workforce more productive, so less people can do more work, and maybe we'll be able to bear that dead weight that's being produced. Hopefully so, or more people snap out of this and they realize they want to, or not realize, or they want to build wealth, they commit to it, and they get back into the workforce. And it also comes to the employing the employers in this country acting in a way that's less soul crushing. Right, so it's definitely not like the issues that people have with being part of the rat race, working for corporate America, dealing with employers. It's not like they're the ones who are completely in the wrong. A lot of what employers do is pretty, well, one, unnecessary, and two, it's not conducive to creating a good labor market. So that's a whole thing right there. So it's no wonder why, people, then want to become passport bros, or they want to just collect unemployment for as long as possible, or they want to do, random side gigs to try and piece together enough of an income so they don't have to be part of that rat race. And then, you've got this whole thing with, being on OnlyFans, doing sex work, and being more appealing than working a corporate job, and, doing that sort of stuff feels good in the moment, but long term it's not going to be good for you. And if you are one of those people who makes a really good income from it, you'd have to be making millions of dollars to be set for life for just how short of a window that you've got doing it. And most people on OnlyFans aren't making nearly that much money. They aren't even making enough money to eat off of it. And if you are making a decent income, like the 40 to 50K range, you got to be aggressively saving and budgeting. And you're not in the mindset to do that with the environment you're putting yourself in, with the people that you're putting yourself around. You're putting yourself in the keeping up with the Joneses sort of people, the people who just want to be spoiled all the time, who want to party and get high and do all those sorts of things. Not, okay, I want to care about my future and think about it and save and invest to build a better future for myself. No, you're just going to spend every dollar that comes in, rack up credit card debts, get into car loans, and you probably have student loans as well that you don't want to pay off as well. So you're not going to be in a fiscally good position. And this leads to the next topic, that y'all are broke. Most Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense, don't even have that much money in their savings, up to debt in their eyeballs. Average car payments like $800. There's trillions of dollars of credit card debt. The student loan payments are starting this month, October 23, and people are screwed because they don't have an extra $150 to $200 in their budget that they can throw at these student loans at all. So there's a very unfortunate situation where people are broke, but they just want to spend more money. I saw, again, another TikTok of this young woman from Australia, no job, but a $700 debt for Afterpay. And Afterpay and Klarna and all these sorts of like buy now, pay in full, some of the worst crap imaginable that people have gotten themselves into. There are people who pull up to the Raising Cane's drive-thru, say that'll be like $8.55, and then they finance that in 4 payments, and then they got, spend like 2 months getting like $275 bi-weekly just to try and pay that off. And people will brag about, another post I saw someone bragging about paying off their freaking cocktail that they afterpaid, like $5, man. Like, oh, I finally paid this off. So people are the complete opposite of financially solvent, absolutely broke, right? So you're hopelessly in debt. You have no income. You don't have the ability to build these skills for yourself, or at least you perceive yourself. So you just stay in this cycle of perpetuating yourself into more debt, so you can get those dopamine hits of getting whatever it is, fast food, pornography, drugs, going to the mall and buying literally everything that isn't nailed down to the floor. That's really what people have gotten themselves into. And once you're in that hole, it's a very hard one to dig yourself out of, and it takes a lot of discipline, consistency, and hard work to build wealth for yourself, not only in the short term, but the long term as well. And people don't think about the long term. People think, well, I want to buy that now. I can Klarna it, or Afterpay it, or put it on my credit card and pay 30% interest for the rest of time on it, because, who cares? I want it now. I'm going to get it now. I only live once. We're all going to die one day soon. And there's no hope for the future. So there's no hope. If there's no hope for the future, then you've got no incentive to engage in delayed gratification. So that's why people are absolutely broke, because if you're in a situation where you have low income and high debt, to get yourself out of that takes a lot of delayed gratification, takes a lot of sacrifice now so you can benefit later, and people don't think the later is going to happen at all, so they just choose to stay broke, choose to stay in a situation where they're comfortable, where they have just enough to escape from their problems in life, but not nearly enough to build wealth for themselves or to leave wealth behind for their family, if they even have families. So that's my little rant on the basically these economic issues that we're running into. So there's a lot of structural issues in the modern economy, and I'd say the COVID pandemic exacerbated it with the job market, with the value of the dollar, with stuff like the housing markets, the car markets, and now we've got automation and AI adding things onto it. So you're going to see a weird thing. Well, you'll have a smaller portion of people become extremely successful, and a lot of people will just become, like I said, they'll just become dead weight, and it'll be by choice. I think for a lot of people, because the opportunities are out there and you can pursue them and they're more open to you than ever before. But if you're not in the mindset of, I want to engage in that delayed gratification behavior, then you're never going to see that long-term gain and success. You're just going to be pursuing an easy way out, whether that's trying to do these get-rich-quick schemes, or going on OnlyFans and thinking you're going to be in the top 0.1% when you're probably going to be barely making $100 a month if you're lucky. It's just a very sad, unfortunate thing. But like I said, if there are these opportunities to build wealth and to get your income up if you just do the hard work now and pursue that. And I think with that, I'm going to check on out, and we'll play the outro now. Thank you for being in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. Be sure to follow my Substack, velvetroompublishing.substack.com, to read Machine to Man and all my other projects.